Good morning, everybody. Um, just woke up a little while ago and going to the bathroom and got a couple of texts. This one uh, person claiming to be Sasha Banks. Like I said, I don't believe it. Um, you know, and then I got another text from somebody, but they quickly stopped texting me. But my wife, yesterday she come home and I don't know. I had some stuff, on my mind, or just, I was talking to somebody about some stuff, and, you know, but then my wife kind of after we talked about it and everything, she broke down like I did, But I wanted to kind of touch on some stuff that's, I've kind of talked about it in other videos, but it kind of just helps, to talk about it, every once in a while, just kind of get it off your chest now and then, since we don't have anybody here other than me and my wife, right now. But the truth of the matter is, you know, I didn't understand why Felicia and all these people come down here. You know, my wife, she told me, and I didn't know this at the time. She just told me something I didn't know. You know, that supposedly the reason she came down here, at least according to my wife, now she could have told my wife this, you know, but and at the time I want to make clear too that before I say this, at the time me and my wife didn't have anything on the table. We didn't have this offer. We hadn't thought it up. We hadn't, looked into doing anything like this before. So when I say what I'm about ready to say, I don't want my wife to misunderstand what I'm trying to say. Um, but I didn't understand. It wasn't brought to my attention. Let's just say it that way. What she wanted. All I knew was this person came down. This was probably, well, I moved up here in 2011 with my wife. It was December. I'd say it's at least 2012 because when we moved up here, first 6 months, I remember we stayed in the house. We didn't get out. We didn't hardly do nothing. We just stayed in the house. One day, my wife, I think, was walking up there to the apartments, just going around the block, and a bunch of these damn people start coming out, you know, and one of them was Bonehead's supposed to be woman at the time, and so it was kind of like a breath of fresh air. But again, I wasn't sitting down. I wasn't told that this was a friends only thing, or it wasn't really explained to me because I would remember it if it was. All I knew, and from what I can recall, was it was more like, I'm coming down here because so and so's not paying that much attention to me. And I remember what set me or my wife off. One particular, well, it didn't set me off, it set more my wife off than it did me. I was kind of curious. But one day, one evening, I was in here singing Kenny Chesney. She thinks my tractor's sexy, it really turns her on. She's always staring at me while I'm chugging along, you know. And I was singing that, and she kind of started acting like she was trying to flirt with me a little bit. And I remember me and my wife. I was kind of taken back by it a little bit. I wasn't mad, but I was, a little bit kind of wondering, you know, because I'm thinking, well, this is supposed to be so and so's wife, but she's indicated to me, and what on the only thing that was told to me, and she brought this up to me to my face, was that he wasn't paying that much attention to her. He was a terrible, uh, basically he was being a terrible, partner. So, like I said, at the time, we had not came up with anything. Uh, Shortly after that, I'd actually texted her that night and I said, "What were you wanting? Some kind of sex thing or something? Or what?" I mean, because she really, like I said, she was really getting into it too much, I think. Um, I didn't know. But she didn't really text me back or anything much. And as far as I remember, but it was weird because it was just we did not have anything. Like I said at the time, we had no ring, we didn't have nothing. We just bought the ring this year, and we've had this goal for 3 or 4 years now. And like I said, I told my wife, last night when we talked, it's going to take just a little more time. I don't think it'll be a long time at all. Like I said, though, but what I was going to try to get to though, and to close on it, was yeah, she was like I said, she didn't. She wasn't drama. She was always smiling, always happy. I didn't really at the time. I didn't really like Dakota because he had done some stuff to me. Uh, that not. I mean, not anything cruel, but just it damaged me. When he was more worried about his Facebook and more worried about that than what he actually came by to do, and which was go watch a basketball game. And he was more worried about his Facebook. So I told him that night, I said, well, if you're more worried about that and you're not interested in the game, let's just go home. You know, let's just go home. My wife was upset because he'd promised to take her with me that night. So lo and behold, I guess he gets to know this person. And like I said, I would have, if we'd have had this offer put out then, you know, we would have took her in. I can guarantee you. Thing is, we didn't have anything set up. We didn't have any idea of what. At the time, we were still kind of fooling around with these goddamn family things that she wanted me to fool around with. She wanted me to meet all these fucking people of hers, and I let her meet mine. I knew mine was going to be the shits pretty much. I mean, my dad's the only one she has anything good to say about. I mean, he's the only one that really did anything good. He understood my wife compared to everybody else. All the rest of them is nothing but shits. Same thing with her people. I didn't like any of them though. I turned out I didn't like any of them. She's you know when we got to Facebook and everything, in 2013, it was like a week after. Um, oh, we got somebody here. Okay, hang on a minute. Oh, um, but no, we just back in 2013 we got a Facebook, and we both me and her. I got it after the week after, just about 4 days after my dad had passed away on he passed away on the 29th of July, and we got it not April, but August 2nd, excuse me. And we'd had a Facebook there about 5 years. I pretty well stayed steady with what I was doing, which was, just commenting on some wrestling and baseball and things. And one particular day, I came up on this lady. She come out of nowhere. She wrote me a big old huge message. And keep in mind now, I don't get we didn't get uh, messages that were like this. My wife was here with me that evening, and I don't know. I read the message. I don't remember now all of what it detailed, but she was basically telling me all about her stuff. She introduced herself, where she's from, whole 9 yards, and was telling me about how she's going to be going and doing this makeup thing for 2 weeks or whatever it was, and all that stuff. So, like I said, it was a big long message. But I thought, I don't know why she came to me, but at the time we were kind of starting to get tired. At this time, we're in 2018. At this time, we had 7 years of trying to put up off and on, trying to put up with her family's crap, mine on my side. And at the time, I just had this thought run through my head, and I mean, she was drop dead gorgeous. A black woman, just looked, smiled, and just brighten your day up. So I reached out and I was just telling her, and at this time I hadn't told my wife yet what I was going to do. I just had this idea just all of a sudden hit me. I said, man, it'd be cool if we just had an extra, female that we could, take in and maybe have hers like a part of us, we could go, I'll go do things and maybe, and just have hers like a family or something. And it's kind of type thing. And so I pitched it out there. My wife was at the time a little irritated about it, and she just, she because people had done her wrong a lot. But I was trying to get us out. I was trying to really. She understands that now. By the time it was a little rough, I was trying to get her to calm down a minute so I could tell her, what I was going to try to do to see if I could help us. So anyway, I pitched the thing, and she writes back on there, and she says, "Oh yeah, I'd like to." Basically, in so many words, she'd like to take the offer. Well, so lo and behold, uh, we passed numbers out, and I gave her mine, or I don't remember if she gave me hers first or if I gave her mine first, but we exchanged numbers. She texted me one time and asked me about one of these little code things. I had no idea. This is the first time I'd ever heard of such thing. She didn't beat my brains out about it like a lot of you people like to do. But you know, uh, so I was getting to know her more, and she brought up about one of her besties having some problems. But to backtrack before I get into all that, um, so anyway, I had told her, and she said, "Well, in 2 weeks I'll be down there." She's all the way in Texas. She took a plane up to. She took a plane up there. She had the money to come up here to actually up here to Tennessee if she would have, you know, done that instead of, doing it, because I'm fixing to explain in brief detail, not going into the long version. But basically, what ended up happening was she fell for one of these fucking Facebook ads, one of these, like some people will do, no matter how many people like me tries to help. But, you know, she fell for an ad on Facebook. And, but so at the time I waited 2 weeks out. I remember where I was at. We were in Athens. I hadn't told nobody. I was in the car with Granny. I had my phone on me, and I was thinking, man, that night we're gonna get to meet this woman, or the next day, or I was like, man, we're gonna get to meet this woman. We've been talking to her. I did. I pitched in. I admit to it. We did help her out with some food. She was legit. We did talk to her over the phone, unlike a lot of you people who only want to text or use Hangouts. This woman actually called us and talked to us when she could. Her phone was kind of messed up. But, and by the way, it was Carrie Walker anyway. So I doubt she'll have a Facebook anymore. But yeah, we had a bad falling out. But anyway, um, so anyway, just a short summary. She had this. So we ended up not getting to meet because she claimed that they told her she was getting a $10,000 check for the 2 weeks of doing how many ever, people's makeup and all that stuff. She was real good at it. I reckon she did everything she's supposed to do. And, so we got so he's like real excited. I hadn't let the cat out of the bag or nothing. And lo and behold, she texts me and tells me, "Oh, I'm not gonna be able to do as I planned. They won't give me a check, yada yada yada." Just tell me all these things that she wasn't telling me before. She was so assured, she claims, because like I said, I wasn't there, so I'm only going by what she's told me on text and by phone. And I just, at the time, I had some stuff. I was willing to get her a bus or whatever it took. I thought, well, if it ain't too much, I've got stuff here. I had some old wrestling that I didn't want, and me and my wife hardly ever watched it. I'd seen it about 100 times. Off and on. All these DVDs I'd collected over all them years. And as I hear currently, WWE's fixing to stop production on all that. They're fixing to cut it out. So you can't go out and buy it personally anymore. You'll have to get on the, as Jim Cornette says, you have to get on the cock or the network. Oh, here, yeah, come on, sit down. It's Kitty. Yeah, come on, honey. You can do what you want. What do you want? You want to sit down here or on my lap? Oh, okay. There she. Oh, goodness. There she is. This is my kitty. I call her Kitty Cat. Her name's Jessica, but she likes a kitty cat. He just woke up. But no, we had that going for a little bit. But just a short summary. I'm not going into all of it. Like I said, I'm gonna try to hit everything here in just strides. But to sum it up, the damn bus thing got pulled over. Supposedly, some goddamn fucking idiots on there had drugs on them. Yeah, like I said, I had people calling my phone. I had her trying to get a hold of me. I was at work the next day, and my phone was going off. And I'd wondered. I'd slept that night pretty good, but I was like, I think I remember saying to my wife, I said, I just don't know, but I got the weirdest feeling. Something bad might happen. I don't know why, but I just had that feeling that when I paid for that bus, this was like a month, I think, or a couple of weeks after, or whenever that next week, or whatever it was I got paid. It's like 2 more weeks on top of it. So, anyway, the bus gets all the way from North Carolina. And keep in mind, North Carolina is the next state over from Tennessee, pretty much right near Tennessee. I don't know if it's exactly but it's right near us. So she basically goes all the way from the bus, picks her up in North Carolina, comes all the way up, gets all the way to fucking Nashville. And this goddamn fucking bus gets pulled over by a fucking cop. It makes me wonder if this wasn't a plan in advance, because how would they have known that there was people on that bus that had drugs on them? Number one, okay, cops normally don't go after anybody, especially knowing that this was a bus. This was like $150 or whatever it was, or 80. I don't know what it paid, but I paid. I'd paid 150 before. I don't remember this particular amount, but it was in that neighborhood. Um, but no, I had, uh, I had cops calling my phone. I had, and I couldn't answer it while I was at work. I had to wait till I got home. It was that bad, so I called. They called me back sometime or another. I was ignoring them for the longest time because I thought, who the fuck's that number? They keep calling me. And they tell me that, oh yeah, she didn't have anything on her, but because there was, people on the bus with drugs in it, she's now has to go in with the rest of them. I'm like, oh my god, because it's 9/10 of the law, and I'm like, and like I said, my grandmother and everybody up here thinks I'm just full of shit. But my wife here could back me up. We went through it. But anyway, so I'll get through that. Basically, quicken it up just a little faster. It was basically her friend, Bestie, was looking for. So anybody that thinks you can't find anybody, just listen to this story. Her bestie that she went to church with, and she had some good pictures. Like I said, she looked like a model and the whole 9 yards. But problem is, she, like a lot of you people, lust after these fucking ads that tell you you're gonna get rich quick and a lot of that stuff, and that was her problem. I can understand why she did it, to try to help her friend, her bestie, or whatever. But I said you could have done her more. I told her, to quicken it up. I had actually, we'd gotten some ad, because I'd paid for buses, taxis, cars, people to bring her down here. Something would happen. The taxi guy couldn't fucking get his way out of a wet paper bag without wrecking the car and without somebody doing something. So anyway, what? What, baby? Baby, they ain't nothing. Sweetheart. What? They ain't nothing, baby. No, we'll get on there in a minute. I was just gonna make this, but anyway. So I basically um, got out there and tried to, like I said, paid for a lot of stuff. I got so frustrated with it that it come down, and believe it or not, this is where I've gotten fed up with cards, and I haven't done them since. because they'll claim, oh, I can't give that amount out, or oh, I can't do this, but I can do this amount. You have to get this amount before I can do it, yada, yada, yada. So, anyway, we had got to the point where I felt, and I told this taxi guy, I said, well, look, I'm only working part time, and I said, I only make so much money. And me and my wife at times had went and almost starved at some points. And, you know, but we have just been, so um, we just been through so much that, I told her, I said, let me think about it overnight. It got to the point, I told the bestie she ended up passing away because complications from surgery that she had or something. She was needing this treatment. And I told, basically to sum it up in so many words, I basically told this woman, I said, you should have, for your bestie, you should have gotten you some regular jobs in your hometown. If you had to get 2 or 3 or whatever it would have took, you could have shared some of your money with her. And I actually told her one thing I could have done was actually she could have took her fucking plane ticket. Instead of getting it one way, she could have gotten it both ways. But at the time, she didn't know that she was going to pick me and my wife out, and she didn't know I was going to make the offer. And I didn't know it was going to be accepted. I was expecting no, you know. But anyway, so I had to, at the end of the day, I told her, I said, look, if you would have took that money instead of, and I tried to talk her out of it. I remember being on the phone with her that night for that little bit. When she's still in Texas, I was kind of trying to tell her in so many words. I wasn't trying to upset her, but I said, I just something don't feel right. Or I don't remember how I said it, but, I was like, you ought to just not do it, you know. And so she went ahead and went through with it, and we ended up getting basically nothing. Over $3,000 went to waste. I got it all back eventually through this damn virus thing. Got it all back and then some, and got some stuff for the house and everything else. But we had basically. I told to sum up the last memories of this, as it's important. I basically said, that we'll think about it overnight. She came up with the bus that was only going to be $20. I kind of hesitated on that at the time because the fact that we've paid much more and got nothing, which my wife and I were really getting tired. We were mentally drained. Or we, at that point, didn't see no reason to keep doing it. I could have done it. I was getting her check that day. I could have done it. I don't remember what they were at that time. It's been, 3 years ago, 4. So, but usually me and her both gets a check, but I can't remember on this particular day. Sometimes it's been me getting mine and hers comes the next day, or vice versa. Sometimes it's just one big check. You never know. You know what I'm saying? So you never know what they're paying. But anyway, I was keeping this under wraps, for the longest time. But it started becoming apparent when I tried, and even went on Facebook. I tried, posting out there, trying to get somebody maybe that, even though I didn't know them, maybe they would try to help us, maybe, But anyway, they wouldn't, and it ended up crashing my Facebook due to the fact that these gossipers and shit all over the Facebook and shit. Now can't even do nothing with it. Thank you very much. But anyway, that morning I woke up and I told my wife. She was pretty dead set on saying, Derek, we promised each other this was going that last time that you said we were done, we were going to have to be done if she didn't come home. And so I said, okay, let's sleep on it. Let's sleep on it, and we get up in the morning, and whatever decision we come to, whatever she decides to do. And I mean, this was a great, like I said, great looking woman. 30 years old. She could have been a model, she could have been anything. But, anyway, shit, I don't have pictures to show out here, but anyway, I've gotten rid of them. But anyway, some people didn't like the pictures, and some people, the old fashioned Christian crackpots, and the damn fucking idiocy of people to believe that this fucking Bible is as important as your fucking human body is beyond me. I don't care how we got here. I just know I'm here. That's all I know. I'm not hating on nobody. I'm gonna make this clear. I'm not hating on nobody for liking religion or whatever. It's y'all's choice. But I can tell you for the most fact, the only reason my wife goes because it gives her something to fucking do. I mean, I'm not trying to say it's not important, but would I rather stare at the walls and talk to basically nothing but a wall, a fucking building, where all these people come in and waste their time with all this horse shit when you could go watch it on fucking TV, have your own religious belief thing in your own home. I had a guy come out and pray for me one time over to Hardy's. I've had it happen over at Sonic. I didn't tell him no. I didn't want to be mean. I'm not the most religious sumbitch out here, but I didn't want to be mean. I went along with it. But that's what I'm saying. Politics and religion have gotten in the way. A lot of people take that crap too seriously, way too seriously. They want to fill their day up with all that stuff and do nothing else. And I read a lot of these people's stuff, and they're like, "I'm a child of God." It's basically like they don't say it this way, but it's basically like they want to say, "Oh, I want to be shoved up his ass. I want to smell what he's had for breakfast." I mean, that's what they do. They basically, in so many words, that's what they do. They got no concern for anybody, not even themselves. That this daggum ghost of a fucking man who's no longer here, who has no value of life. Well, Derek, you got to give something credit for us being here. Oh, well, okay, but we don't have to literally do that 24/7, 365 days in a year and make that our top priority and nothing else. We could just sit here and mope and do nothing and have that book crammed up our ass. How would the house get clean? How would you be able to go to work? Let's see. Many other things. How would you go out and be able to do anything fun? If you want to go out and have a good time like me and my wife wants to do, we want to get away from here. We want to get moved. And that's what I'm telling her. I'm not hating on it. It's just like I said. I think that a lot of people, include, because she came home and told me they kind of preached on this stuff. Well, they're going to touch a nerve. I've sat in church services before, and instead of preaching out of the Bible, they tell stories. They like to tell story time, and they like to do that, and they like to get on your nerves. And that's when I'd like to just take the piss out of the pastor himself, and hit one of his faults, because I can guarantee you his mouth would be wide open time I got through with him, and his eyeballs would be popping out of his head. He'd be running for the hills. But like I said, it's just that, you know, it seems like no matter what we've tried to do, and like I said, this leads up to, you know, my wife, she basically another thing that she tried to do, she tried to get one of her besties down here, but they didn't have no way down here, didn't have no car. Oh yeah, Derek, the mother would have brought this person down here, yada yada yada. My wife liked this person, she had a thing for her. But I got to be honest. She was beautiful too. She's very pretty, but she didn't have the brain. She didn't have what it took mentally to get along with people. She was very easily distracted, very easily to, have a fight, confrontation with. Um, I don't mention names. We know who we're talking about. So, anyway, uh, just kind of shorten it up. She's a lot of drama, a lot of baggage, and some stuff went on up there. I don't even know if her family would have been okay with her bringing her down. I don't know. I'm just saying. Because I wasn't around my wife then, but I was telling my wife, I said, "Well, goddamn, if you was just fucking close to her, you ought to just tried to see if they would have let her come down here." You know, I mean, she would have already had her own bestie. She would have known because she had her from school. But at the time, nobody thought of it. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things, like I said sometimes, and I've said this on a video the other day. Sometimes we've had shit put in front of us that we didn't understand. We don't know why it happens. We don't know why it comes, but they just put something in front of you. Sometimes you want more. Well, I do all the time. You want more than what they're giving. I don't care if it's when I've worked somewhere, they'll hand you something, and it's just like, well, you got fucking kids, you got a man, you got this or that. You know what I'm saying? Or you got my wife who fucking goes down, tries to get her a volunteer job somewhere, or maybe even tried to one time get a thing over at Hardee's or whatever it is. They always treat her like, shit. And like I said, at one time we called the people up here to ambulance, fire engine place. I didn't want that. All I was wanting was a fucking cop to come out here and actually just find the damn breaker. I didn't want to get electrocuted, you know? They brought all this extra fucking shit out here. And my neighbor actually, he don't never usually come over, but he got so concerned he came over here, beating and banging on the door, thought something was wrong. And so, and I explained to him, I said, look, everything's okay. I said, they took it, they blew it out of proportion. I said, I told that lady over the phone that everything was okay. We were fine. We wasn't out of the house because there wasn't no need to be. I just didn't want to have that thing on overnight and risk it catching the place on fire. I knew if they could just get the breaker, I knew that, you know, but no, my wife hates it. But this fucking female walks in here, and I ain't gonna mention names. We've already mentioned it before a little bit, but I'm just briefly go over. She comes in here, acts like she's fucking, gonna just. I don't know. She thought she's gonna. I don't know what she thought she's gonna be doing. I mean, it seemed like she's just more of a girly girl. I just wanted to do that. But yet, what struck me odd was, yeah, my wife was a little bit upset. She's a little uneasy, but it wasn't nothing I couldn't have took care of. My wife even knows that. And this woman overreacted, come in here, started hugging and kissing, and not saying kissing as in the physical form. I'm just saying it started kissing up, started making all this. She did hug her. I know. I remember that. It's just like, why do we need that? What, and I understand that people were kind of concerned a little bit, but they took it overboard. They went. I got nothing against the fire department or police department, but keep you fucking wives and you fucking households at home. They ain't needed. They don't need to be around a married couple. I told my wife, I said, I never want to ever lay my eyes on another goddamn person unless me and her both know what the fuck we got into. If they ain't on our same level, on our same page, they're going to get the fuck out. They ain't going to be a 2 or 3 weeks. They're going to be right then, snap of my finger. Going to get lost. I did it before. My wife wasn't around then, but I had a woman I was telling her about. I've told her this story before, but it's worth, kind of going over again shortly. It wasn't a long one. But she came up in her damn car, bought some breakfast. She's supposed to make breakfast for me. And I remember Crystal was her name, but she come out there, and I met her off Mocha Space. Like I said, before all this, modern bullshit happened, after about, it's been about 12 years ago. But since then, everything's kind of gotten all about the cards and the money and all that stuff. I told my wife, I said, yeah, I used to meet them from 5-10 minutes around here. I said, I even had one that actually even had a neighbor next door. He came up in his red truck, brought the woman by. This is a different one. Brought her by, and even brought her brother by. And I let him stay for a while until he started his drama. And I said, you're going to have to go somewhere. I said, you and your ladies getting on my nerves, calling your phone, and you's getting upset and yelling. I said, we can't have that. Even this one's sister agreed with me. Thank goodness. But anyway, back to what I was going to say. Yeah, this woman walks in the apartment, sits down, and just like modern day, you'd expect this now. But back then, it wasn't, apparent to me. I remember it was a white car, or grayish white color car. It's almost like one of those limousines, when you see the wrestlers and stuff coming up in. That damn gun woman walks in there and immediately, not even no time, gets on the side right in front of me. And my wife knows how I am now. She's known me for 10 years. She ain't surprised at what I'm about to tell you. I told her, see, if you're going to do that, you can get the fuck out. I said, I didn't think you'd mind. I said, well, I do, because you're supposed to be here seeing me. Well, I had friends and stuff on there I want to talk to. I said, you go do that at home. I get pissed. I told the people down there, just as a matter of fact, I went down there the other day, got my blood work. And these young ladies, there was a black woman that was doing my blood work. She looked real pretty and stuff. And, she's trying to get the blood to do. They took it out of the arm that they always usually go for, and it wasn't going to do for them that day. For some reason, it did. It stopped after so little, and it started hurting just a little bit. I was like, man, oh my goodness, I didn't want the needle to break in my arm. And so they had to get it out of this other arm. That's why I ended up with 2 Band-Aids on. But no, before I left, I was telling them, I said, yeah, and I brought it up. And this is the nicest I've ever had anybody talk to me about the subject, about the little doll thing. I said, I didn't have the issue of her getting it. It's just as much as people getting her upset and dogging her about it, thinking that she was really going to be the only one getting this stuff. I said I just kind of wanted it to kind of fade away and stop because, it would make us feel better as a whole, if that didn't happen anymore. So I carried on, and they were fine with that. No, we, that's like, oh yeah, we get it. Everybody else is beating my brains out, thinks I'm jealous or I've got an issue, problem. But they actually got where I was going. So then I tell them, I said, yeah, and I'll tell you something else. I said, I know now I can't talk to nobody. My wife brings up here. I can't look at nobody. If I say anything, my voice is too loud. Well, I got my dad's voice. Blame my daddy. He's no longer here, but you can blame him. Uh, I've seen these butthurt people. The one that came up here to the fire engine thing and drove up in their little car. What the problem was, my wife if she went down there was going to get a volunteer job, for example, and was supposed to see about it. So she brought it up to this damn woman, and she's like, "Oh, like we were hurting these people, like we were going to talk bad about them." I said, "No," I said, and I jumped in there because that's what I'm trying to help my wife with it. I said, "No," I said, basically, so many words. I said, "We've just been played. My wife has been played by people before." I said, and I feel like it was on purpose. Well, right about it after that, a little after that, almost right after. So, it wasn't long. She walks up, didn't say nothing, didn't even act like she'd upset that I'd upset her or nothing. But, of course, my mind's wandering a little bit. So then I wait, I wait. My wife came back in and she says, "Oh, Derek, you hurt this woman's feelings." I said, "What the? How did I hurt her feelings?" My wife tells me, what I just told you. I said, "Oh my God." I said, I said, and I told her, I said, a woman is supposed to be a helpmate, but I'm beginning to wonder if they can even sit down there and shut up and listen. If they would think before they speak, and if they would process the information that I'm trying to relay to them, and not, what you call back talk me and interrupt me and in so many words. I said, because I don't know what a fucking man's supposed to do. If he can't talk and he can't, get his point across. How are we going to make an offer? How are we going to be able to put up with them if they can't lay this, modern day junk down? Not that this woman was married, by the way. This wasn't like somebody single or nothing, but it's like every fucking time my wife comes in contact with these people at certain times, it's not planned. It's not like me and my wife plans and stuff, but their feelings. The last 2 or 3 we've had that fucking crack whore pair. That was another one. That was before this though, but we just get, like I said, we every chance we get, if somebody wants to come up in here, run us over. And I like kids, don't get me wrong. As I said before, it's just kids. It depends on what kids they are, how they, what. It ain't about what's on the outside. It's how they behave. If they're good kids, of course. If they ain't biased and they're not just going up to one or the other and they're both kind of engaged in the whole package, it would make it a lot easier. I could put up with one doing the other, though, in some ways. I had, for example, I had an 8-year-old just, about a year ago up here. She wanted me to do her thing, and this 3-year-old was on more attached to my wife. But she got on my nerves wanting daddy all the time, and I'm not here to listen to it. I told my wife, I said, "Listen, I'm responsible for somebody having some kids or something, or if we, whatever happened." I said, "That's the only kids I'm going to tend to. It's my own, however they happen. I don't want, because that's what drags me down. It bothers my nerves. It doesn't make, because you're trying to pay attention to the woman that is the adult in the room, and you've got all these damn kids in the way. It never makes for a good recipe. The woman needs a mental break once in a while. I don't care if you're not the best of, I'm not care if you're not on the best of terms. You have to do it for the kids' sake. Kids don't understand why they're not going to see daddy, right? So do the best get your stuff together. You don't have to be friends with them for your kids. All you got to do is say, this is by law. This is what I'm supposed to do. Unless he's done something, a man I'm talking about, unless a man's done something where he's done something so bad that he can't see his kids for reasons that would, like maybe he's a child molester, maybe somebody, whoever the guy is. Well, then okay, I get you, but you don't, you, you know, then we have no basically no say. We'd have to try to take it, or if we couldn't take it, and the kids were that bad, because I don't like rowdy kids in the house. I'm old fashioned. My wife sees my point, and everything. It's just you didn't do that in the house. You did that outside. You got your yelling and your screaming, your exercise outside. You came in, you was all worn down. You sweated, you know, and stuff, and you was ready to. I was always ready to settle down, watch some TV. If nothing else, lay down. Maybe go in and eat. You know, but anyway, I just felt like, kind of coming out here before we was going to try the Twitter thing again. We've been on Twitter for a little while. I've had a few things there too. We, they stop and start sometimes, but I told my wife that's kind of what you expect nowadays, with technology and shit. I hadn't heard from the one we were talking to for this last little while. I don't know if she will or not. But it just frustrates me that if they are these real people on there and they're these celebrities that get on there, and like I said, they get on there and they seem more willing to give out their number and they just text all the time, off and on throughout the day. And Derek, well, why don't you understand that I can't do this? I'm under contract. Well, I'm gonna explain to you. I don't care if it's a wrestler, cheerleader. I don't give a damn what your occupation is. I can find 5 fucking minutes in a day. Okay? Get this. There's 24 hours in a fucking day. You can't take your fans or fan and you can't tell me that you can't find 5 goddamn minutes to take out of your day to call your fans. I don't care if they said you wasn't allowed. The only way that they would find out is if you ratted, which I'm about to get to. The supposed Alexa Bliss that was on TV, and I'm going into it because this is the most recent thing that's happened. So I'll kind of give the story in full or as much as I can. So basically, the first 2 or 3 days or whatever it was good. We told her the offer and everything, and we'd watched her on TV. So I tell her, my favorite version of her was when she was halfway dressed in her tights. The more revealing of her was better than this sideshow clown looking shit she's wore ever since Bray Wyatt was doing that thing. I said I hated that whole thing. She got mad at me yesterday. If I'm to believe this is the real her, I'm just leaving that out there because I don't know because I ain't there. But she got upset saying, "Are you drunk?" I said, "No, I ain't drunk." I said basically that we showed you our IDs. We proved to you who we are, and we've left you voicemails. We tried to get you to do something. Something. All we asked is for you to do one thing, and you couldn't do it. You can't do it because you went and ratted. She supposedly went and told her lawyer about us, which is why it didn't work. She wanted us to keep it a secret, but she went and told somebody. Well, Derek, that's who handles her business. That's her excuse, I bet. Okay, so let's for example say that was your excuse. There's still no reason to tell anyone about what you're doing with your fans. Is this an everyday thing that you possibly maybe get to meet one of your most favorite women in the world that you've had a crush on, maybe thinking about them? Man, I wish I could be here. I wish, I, I wish we could take her home and all this kind of thing. But, like I said, whose fault is it, right? You guys get up there and tickle Vince's balls, kiss his ass, or whatever you do behind closed doors. I know we don't do that shit on TV, but you do it behind closed doors. Hell, it's Alexa Bliss. I give you exact, and if it ain't her, it's somebody that looks just like her almost. But I'm just saying, the real Alexa Bliss, I know, would not ask or talk about money or banks or anything to do with stimulus money. That's their money. These people make hundreds of thousands of dollars on a check. I don't know how they split it. I guess they split it up and do it in payments, but they get a good amount. Let's just say a much bigger amount than we do. If I was to work, I'd get $8, $10, an hour. But these people get paid in a different way. They make a lot more money. They buy houses. They buy cars. These people ain't needing our money. This was never about money. This whole bestie offer wasn't intended for a celebrity. This was basically intended for somebody that wasn't a celebrity. But we thought, hey, you know, what if? Just what if it happened? Well, since she let the cat out of the bag and told him about us, now she can't call us. She can't do nothing because she went and ratted out that she was talking to us. Plus, on the other thing is, we came across this whole thing with this guy, touching her, kissing her, and all this other mess, and in fucking photos. And so I asked her about that. Me and my wife had, and she said, "Oh, it's just an old crush." And I'm looking at the video to see the date of the photos. They were took this past Thanksgiving, just this most recent Thanksgiving thing, that was coming up. Close enough to Thanksgiving. It was a little bit before that. It's 14. And I'm sitting there thinking, that's recent. No, that's not. And she's 30 years old, like I said. But and I told her basically, I said, but yeah, y'all can go out there and backstage, and y'all all the used to in wrestling, it would have been a no to have relationships behind closed doors. They wouldn't let the woman interact with the men like they do now. But it's every time you look, there's somebody doing something. But no, I don't find it's wrong to have another. If my wife wants a bestie, I want one. But are we gonna be able to find it? Only time will tell. It would be nice to just have somebody that didn't have much. And I told her, I said, you could have took this ring that we bought that was over $700 time you had tax. I think it came out to $721. You could have took this ring out here to every one of these people that's in high school or a little bit out of high school, probably in their early to mid 20s. If they didn't have anything going on, if you could line me up, I told her yesterday, I said, if I could find a goddamn show, a game show somewhere, and I don't care what it was called or what, but if you could had me 3 or 4 people or how many ever, different ones. And you know how the game shows do, they talk about their stuff, what they like, what they don't like. Me and my wife could probably pick one out, be fine with it. But we don't have the ways to go about doing that. So we have to use what we only have, which is, like a Twitter or some type of thing. And I don't like technology. I'm not a big technology buff, but I'll do things like this. But I know I'm not about cards. I'm not about, but I'd give anybody any clothes we had in here, and I'd make sure they had something to eat. We'd cuddle them, we'd take care of them, you know. And that's what, let's suppose that real Alexa Bliss wants. Well, I said, honey, how's it gonna happen? She ain't gonna come. She's more worried about where her stimulus money's going. She can put it in her own bank. I understand. She said, well, there you go. She's just trying to help. Okay, well, yeah. And we told her what? We don't know how to do it. We're old fashioned in that sense. I'm not a big technology buff. I tried telling these people that, but they listen like a hole in the head. They don't think. They just, and I don't want to fuss or argue with nobody. But the last thing I'm going to do is putting cards, or I'm tired of fooling with that. My wife's tired of it.
Yeah.
We got to get something simple. Somebody that is just as pretty as one of these people off TV, but has a heart of gold and maybe has had some things, but maybe, happen like all of us do. We all have a little bit of baggage. But some people, like me and my wife, can sit down here and talk about it. We can talk about it, not fuss, not fight, not argue about it. We get to sit here and have a nice, good old conversation. Their butts don't get hurt. We talk about it like people are supposed to. But we've got to find that person that matches what we are. We've got it's got to be in full. It can't be in a total opposites attract deal. It can't be just looking at the outside, although that's what part of the package is. What part of it is, that's the first thing your eyes are going to lay your eyes on. That's part of it. That was like my wife and I said, we don't want somebody so fat and ugly that, there is a certain type we'd like to see. We'd like to see somebody athletic to maybe a slim to an average body type. Color don't matter and things like that. Like I said, we take about whatever you had. Main thing we worry about is your mental stuff. Well, where's your head at? Inside. Stuff you can't see. I don't mind to meet your family and few people. But I just don't want them shoved up our ass, Like you got to meet them right away, or that they've got to, you don't have to tell them about us right away. We could have us time for a little while. Play it out. Have fun. You only gonna live life one time. And the thing is if we don't try to start getting this around and people looking at it in this way and enjoying life, then this whole and like I said, this whole spirituality thing, it's already won its battle. I'm not going to be able to change everybody, but if I can change a few people and try to get them to understand, I'm not shitting on it, but at the same time, I'm not going to sit there and spend my whole freaking day crammed up this stuff's ass. I'm not saying it's not legit or any of it's not true. It's just it gets on my freaking nerves when you see these people write about that all the time. And a lot of times, and I'm not hating on couples. Oh, the trash. Trash. I forgot. I heard him beeping. We'll go get it after a while. But yeah.
Some pictures.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just heard him coming.
Those little pictures of my phone.
Oh, okay.
Of us.
Oh, okay.
It's freezing out there.
Yeah, it felt cold.
Oh my god, my legs are froze.
But no, we basically have gotten to the point where we almost have to warn people about all this stuff. I don't even remember what I was talking about now, but But yeah, we're a simple-minded kind of people. Um, we like to do some sports, like music, some movies. Just depends on what it is. Art. My wife's, got collection, got dolls and things she likes, and some stuffed animals and different things like that. We would have to have a place to go, which is why I'm trying to, you know, make sure that we actually get, something as close to home as possible. I told my wife I may not get as lucky with the caterer as I used to, but we can hope for maybe a Athens or Chattanooga or Cleveland. It's not that far out. My dad traveled; it was about 25 miles. It's not terrible. I mean, 30 minutes from here to Athens is, probably 15 miles, maybe 10. I don't know. I don't, but it's not too far. I mean, Dayton wouldn't be too bad. But we just got to have somebody that is really understanding of our disability and what we are about in the whole way, not just what's on the outside, and not just lust for money. Like a lot of these people have done. So again, it just depends upon you. If you're that lucky one or two that we run into today, if we check our Twitter, we're going to. But I just want to kind of come out here. It's just been kind of on my mind. Honey bunny, do you want to be in the video?
I was already in the video with you, honey.
I mean, did you want to talk?
Honey, I'm sick.
Oh, my wife's got a little sickness. Okay, but anyway, we're going to probably check out the Twitter page. So anyway, we'll see you later. But try if anybody wants to subscribe or anything, you can do that. But thanks to anybody who said hello. I can't read half of them. I don't know. It might be some foreign people. But anyway, I said hello back. So anyway, we'll see you later. Bye.